let's have a talk. It's one of those talks that I almost feel like dad, right? Your kid's laying around too much, needs to get a job, and it's time to have a talk. No, you're not the kid in this situation, but the normies of America, they are the kids in this situation. You, me, we understand spending. We understand government spending. We understand why it's a problem. So first, let's just talk about the good news. Yes, inflation, as of this moment, is going down. It's ticking closer to 2%, which is the goal of the Fed. It's at 2.4. It was at 2.6. The goal of the Federal Reserve is 2%. Now, you and I can sit and argue about that goal, which I don't particularly care for. I don't understand why you have it baked into the economic cake that my money has to lose 2% of its value every single year. Why can't you try to increase its value? Why can't you maintain it? But look, that's obviously that ship has sailed, so let's not even dig into that. Okay, we're trending in the right direction if we have to put a nice face on this thing. Okay, we got it. But I don't have to tell you that that hasn't fixed prices. The prices aren't fixed. That we're looking at over 20% in the last decade. You, unlike your parents, unlike your grandparents and their grandparents, you have lived in a unique period in American history. It's not the only period that's been like this, but it's been relatively unique for a few generations. You've seen your standard of living go down. We here in the United States of America have gotten used to a really wonderful thing. It's a wonderful way to live where everything gets better with time. We just go up, and everything kind of gets better. So you should be able to afford better things, different things than your parents could afford. Now, you've probably either said this yourself or you've heard others say it. You look around and you wonder, why don't I own a house already? My parents had a house by now. My parents had a house, a couple cars. Why is everything so expensive now? Why do things feel financially out of reach now? Well, a huge reason things are financially out of reach now is the value of the dollar has gone down, 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 and down. You have less buying power now than your parents did. This is a reality. But the important part of that is the why. And the why is the part that's difficult to tackle, difficult to wrap your arms around it, certainly difficult to handle the problem. The why is government spending. The United States government has decreased your standard of living. The United States government and its spending has made you poorer. And I know I'm a partisan. You're probably a partisan, whether you're a commie who hate watches or an anti-communist like me. Republicans are as guilty as Democrats. We spend way too much money. And given the fact that the United States government takes in inhuman amounts of money, for them to continue to spend way more than that is unbelievably ridiculous. But they do. Republicans and Democrats, doesn't matter who's president, doesn't matter who controls the Congress, it's trillion-dollar bill after trillion-dollar bill, huge deficits after huge deficits. And look, it was already bad pre-COVID, but what happened during COVID really ramped everything up into warp speed is what it did. We took a bad chest cold and we used it to justify spending at World War II levels. Do you understand what this country did during World War II? Just a brief little rewind on this. The United States of America, because wars are expensive, they are now, they were then, and they always have been and always will be. It's very, very expensive to outfit an army, to prepare your country for war, to prosecute a war. It's unbelievably expensive, buying the bombs and the bullets and the medical stuff and paying that. It's crazy expensive. The United States of America during World War II took this gigantic economy and they ramped it up into warp speed, mass amounts of spending on wartime economy stuff because we were busy fighting a war on the entire globe, from the shores of Alaska to the Philippines, to Germany, to Africa. The United States of America paid for a world war. Crazy, right? Insane levels of spending. Did you know right now, because of COVID, we're spending that? And I warned you back then, I warned you. The far-reaching consequences of what we're doing to try to stop the spread of this virus, maybe they're necessary, maybe they're not, but we are talking about massive, massive economic losses coming, and that's just the truth. We are going to be feeling this for not just, the coming months, for years. No, we're not going to be in lockdown for years, but the economic impact of this is going to be, it's going to be something. Did I call that or what? And this is how it works, you see. Government creates a problem. Government decides it can spend your money. It can spend its way out of a problem. And then, even once the problem is gone, they don't want to stop, you see. All this extra cheddar laying around. We got more money for him and more money for her and more money for this district and more money for this state. And I can build a new airport and I can build a new base and I can pave these roads and you gave me access to all this money, all this vast amount of money in the American Treasury. And now me, member of the House, Republican and Democrat, me, Senator, Republican and Democrat, I want to take that big pot of taxpayer gold and I want to throw it out to the masses and buy myself some popularity. And oh boy, does it work. It works on a dumbed down population that doesn't understand with every $1 trillion bill, your groceries get more expensive. Let me say that again. With every $1 trillion bill, your groceries get more expensive. One more time. Every $1 trillion bill means your groceries get more expensive. Nobody really explained this problem better than Milton Friedman did.
Inflation is made in Washington because only Washington can create money. And any other attribution to other groups of inflation is wrong. Consumers don't produce it. Producers don't produce it. The trade unions don't produce it. Foreign sheiks don't produce it. Oil imports don't produce it. What produces it is too much government spending and too much government creation of money and nothing else.
What was true then remains true now. And you see, this is the problem. Americans don't understand this. And they don't understand. You see those words on the screen right now? They don't understand what's happening inside of the criminal organization known as the United States government. Senators, members of the House, and the bureaucracy. They're a huge part of this as well. And the NGOs that orbit all of these things. They are only in this to steal your money. They are in this to find out new and inventive ways to steal your money. They get to Washington, D.C., and they see this big pot of gold. It's the U.S. Treasury. It's your money. It's your money, the money you worked for, the money the government steals from you. And when all these people look at that big pot of gold, they think to themselves, I want some of that. I got to get my hands on some of that. I got to dip my hands in that, buy myself some more political capital, hand some money out to my cousin at this NGO. I got to get some of that. And so what happens every day while you go to work and the government steals 25% plus of your income is these people go to work and they plot new and inventive ways to spend and steal your money. That's why you can't afford groceries. That's why you can't afford to remodel your house. That's why you're driving on family vacation instead of flying now. It's because the Republicans and Democrats in Washington, D.C. simply will not stop spending your money. They love it. They're like bank robbers who are in the bank vault and no cops are coming. It's glorious. And Trump and Elon Musk, to their credit, are finally talking about it.
Just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love it
if it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, You want to quit? They go on
Yeah.
strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike and you say, that's okay, you're all gone.
So they're working on it. And Donald Trump has said publicly multiple times, including during his State of the Union, which I know wasn't a State of the Union, that we need to make some cuts.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
I'm glad he pointed it out in front of the American people, the absurdity of it. But we have to talk about something else. Because that's an easy sell, isn't it? Only your crazy liberal Aunt Peggy, as she's popping her anti-anxiety medication, only she is supportive of those things. She's a very tiny minority. Most American people hear about transing mice and they say, probably not necessary. Okay. What about the military? Do you think there should be any cuts there? Trump thinks it should be $1 trillion budget.
We have great things happening with our military. We also essentially approved a budget, which is in the facility, you'll like to hear this, of $1 trillion, $1 trillion. And nobody's seen anything like it. We have to build our military, and we're very cost conscious, but the military is something that we have to build, and we have to be strong because you got a lot of bad forces out there now. So we're going to be approving a budget, and I'm proud to say, actually, the biggest one we've ever done for the military.
The United States military is full of fraud, flat out theft. They haven't passed an audit in years. We talk about inflation and we need cuts, and we're going to hand a completely corrupt military $1 trillion. It's not like it's just Trump either. Listen to all these GOP senators talking about spending and cuts and inflation.
This is Biden's inflation, and he needs to own it.
Due to rampant inflation spurred by reckless government spending, and consumer prices are escalating at a historic pace.
Inflation is real. Don't dismiss it.
This is a national emergency. What I would like to do is get the administration to focus on this.
There's an old expression that when you find yourself in a hole, quit digging.
President Biden's inflation is strangling a free people. The American people deserve better.
We do. How many of those senators are about to vote for a massive blowout budget that makes inflation as bad or worse? I mean, that last guy was Senator Kennedy. American people on the right, not on the left, the right loves him, absolutely loves him. I have Republican friends from Louisiana. They think he's the best. He's got so many one-liners.
I consider Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She's entitled to her opinion. I'm entitled to mine. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle. And our plan for dealing with her...
You didn't plan that out. We got her.
Our plan for dealing with her is called Operation Let Her Speak.
Aha! It's funny. Gosh, the one-liners. He's even got the accent. What a straight shooter. Votes for every big spending bill he can get his hands on. Sorry. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're gonna start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.